Critical hit Punch All Nazis takes place in the early days of World War II and combines high adventure with cosmic horror. All dates, locations, and historical events are thrown out the window in order to create a fun story, so don't put too much thought into historical inaccuracies. All accents are done poorly, but with love, and no disrespect is intended. Well, it has been a busy day. Your arrival in Dover shocked many people, shocked the town of Dover and Kent. Everyone was very surprised to see this giant Nazi blimp come in, especially with all the blue lights and everything. Of course, by the time you touched down, which was very near the place where you cleared out the ghoul infestation, the military was already there to greet you. Fortunately, the big guns that they have set up there right on the ridge line did not fire upon you, but you are instantly whisked away to Kent. You, along with all of the crew members and the scientist, the head scientist of the blimp, his name was Johannes Vester, and you are all whisked away back to Section M HQ. You walk in to the main, well, of course, the prisoners are all led off to the prisoner area, and you all walk into the main library, which is currently the war room for this war against the Nachtwolf and the Black Sun and all of the ne'er-do-wells that are Nazis and Nazi adjacent. You walk in and everything is abuzz. People are running back and forth. You see scientists running in, looking for tomes on the shelf, and they grab something and they run back out. A lot of people are talking about Blauer crystals and just this great discovery that this blimp has brought to Section or to Majestic, and how they're really going to give a good old what for to the Nazis with this technology. You guys appear to have made a major victory in the war against the Nachtwolf. When you walk in, though, standing around the main table in the middle, you see the Brigadier, and he looks very serious, but you can tell he's got a pleased air about him. Next to him is Alec Towton, and he's in the worst shape that you guys have ever seen him in. This guy looks like he is at death's door. It looks like he has not had sleep for weeks. He looks like he has taken ill with one of the worst maladies since the 1918 influenza epidemic that swept the world. He literally looks like he's on death's door, but he's standing there, kind of shaking a little bit, trembling maybe from weakness or from, chills running through his body. Looks pretty grim. Also standing next to him is Sally Armitage, and she too also looks unwell. Her hair, which is usually, very fine, she takes care of it, is askew. She has not put on makeup today. Her clothes are not ironed, and she too looks like she hasn't had sleep in a couple of days. Well, gentlemen, good hearty congratulations for the excellent work that you did acquiring this magnificent weapon of war. Yes, good job, boys. Good job. Very good.
Thank you.
I will see that you all get a commendation for bravery in the line of duty for this. Yes, excellent. Excellent, Sir Towton. Excellent idea. What what is the next plan of action? Hey, you guys. And then Sally is like, oh, Sir Towton, you should just have a seat and relax. There's no need to stand on formalities here. And please, just sit. You look exhausted. Thank you, kind lady. I think I will. And he just sits down and almost passes out from sheer exhaustion. Sally looks at the group of you and she's like, yes, I'm curious. What, and she stifles a yawn. What is your next course of action?
Well, we were planning on heading to Russia, to St. Petersburg, but that's when we kind of came across this. So presumably, once everything's settled down here, we'll head back out there.
Ah, yes, very good. Very good indeed. Ah, you boys are thinking on your own. Very soon you won't even need us. Ha ha ha. What am I saying? Of course you're always going to need us. And of course the Brigadier looks chipper and fit. He looks well rested. He looks like he looks almost 10 years younger than he did the last time you saw him.
Is he wearing the
It's not outside of his
Floyd's
clothing.
medal?
It's not outside of his clothing, but you can tell he is wearing something around his neck.
Mm-hmm.
At that moment, one of the doors opens and one of the science nerds comes in and hands a paper to the Brigadier, and he looks at it. Oh, this is sudden. It appears that there's a large storm heading into St. Petersburg, unexpected spring storm, which is going to shut down any kind of travel for at least 2 weeks. This is very odd.
Okay. Well, I suppose we should spend some time trying to figure out what the best course of action is then.
Yes, and at that moment, a man walks into the room, U.S. military officer, and everybody in the room kind of notices him and comes to attention, and he's like, I like the room, please. And everybody but the four of you, the Brigadier, Alec Towton, and Sally Armitage, everybody else clears the room and the doors all close. And from behind a curtain steps General Eisenhower. It's okay. It's okay. No need to be alarmed by me. It's just me, General Eisenhower.
Yes, sir.
You boys did an excellent job in Romania, not only acquiring another key to getting to Carcosa and destroying the Key of Solomon, but you've brought back a fantastic weapon that I'm sure, and he looks at the Brigadier and with a very straight face, I'm sure we will be sharing our knowledge of this technology together in a spirit of cooperation. Oh, yes, of course. We plan on sharing everything always. And Eisenhower just kind of stares at him for a moment. My operatives tell me that you boys want to head to Russia next to get the last piece of the puzzle, or nearly the last piece of the puzzle. And Eisenhower stares dead at you, Carlos, when he says that.
Yeah, we're planning on heading to Russia and then after that to the Black Forest, but looks like there's a major storm coming into Russia, so I don't know if we're going to be able to go anytime soon because, and he looks over at the other guys, we've collectively decided that we're not parachuting into any storms anymore.
That's a good idea. That is a good idea indeed. Problem is, I did read the report of what happened in your travels, and it appears that the Black Sun and the Nachtwolf, even though that they are part of the same Nazi organization, they do have some infighting, and it appears that they are growing more powerful with each and every day. It's clear that they've aligned themselves with evil forces from beyond the veil. And my experience has always been it's much harder to win when it seems all is lost. But I know you boys, and I know our men and women in the military. And he looks at Sally when he says women. We need to fight on to defeat fascism in all its forms. Whether it's these Nazis or the Nachtwolf or Black Sun of today or some future menaces who desire to become dictators and use the same playbook we know that creatures like Whistler and Hitler and some other madman that seems himself as a brilliant genius that should control the lives of the free men everywhere. You boys need to find a way to get to Russia. We need to defeat evil. We need to punch Nazis. We must win this war. Now, what can I do to help you?
Begging the general's pardon, sir. Didn't we just rectify an artifact that controls the weather?
Yeah, but it's only good for causing lightning, right?
That's what the Count suggested.
Yep.
Then again, he takes off the pendant and hands it to Sally.
She looks at it. She's like, wow. Look at the craftsmanship. Wow. And she shows it to Towton. Yes. Easily early 1500s if I remember my art history classes.
So if you guys can figure out a way to get that to maybe mitigate a storm, then we'd be more in business. There's, as a side request, General, can I ask you a question?
Yes. And he turns and it looks like he takes a piece of paper from somebody that's not there and he looks down at it and then he hands it off to some other person that's not there. Go ahead.
Does it seem tired to you in here?
Tired? In what way?
Well, we all had pretty bad sleep before we left, and then we went on a rollicking adventure where we have slept on the ground and in barns and in boats, and it still seems that we've gotten better sleep than the people that are here.
And the general kind of stands up a little straighter, kind of sticks his nose up in the air.
Now
he finally seems to recognize Towton and sees that he is not the strong young man that he remembers. Oh, were you going to say, Valentino?
I think it is notable that Brigadier is not affected. I mean, we assumed that...
yes, it's the necklace. Remember, we've already established that when I was in Paris. Yes, it's a chip off the big tablet.
Yeah, we were pretty much under the assumption that it may have been a protective force against whatever, malaise that may be being cast our way by the enemy forces. But I'm kind of wondering, maybe, perhaps, could it be perhaps sapping the vitality of those around it?
And the general sniffs the air again. Ah, yes. There are some evil forces around here that are definitely working to attack the fine folks at this establishment. This seems to be an inside job of some form. He kind of turns around the room with his eyes closed and he kind of puts his arm out in a pointing direction. Yes, it's coming from all around here. I cannot pinpoint its location, but it's near. It's very, very near. Whatever it is. It's not the amulet. It's magic. Different kind of magic. Something you should all try to set up wards to protect yourselves against. Good observation there, Valentino. And to you too, Carlos.
Sure. As far as getting to Russia, I guess we could go, let's see. I don't have my map of Europe up.
Well, the problem that I see is a tricky one. Because even though Stalin is our friend. He's still what we call tricksy.
Mhm.
He's got something up his sleeve that he's not totally sharing with us. And it wouldn't surprise me if he's trying to take spoils of war and use them to build up his own arsenal of weapons. So while he is a friend for now, I don't see him being a friend in the future. But any kind of alliance that we can build up with the Russians now is good. What is the saying? The enemy of my enemy is my friend. And I think it would be a bad move if we were to just fly in a bunch of troops to try to take this last artifact.
Oh, yeah. No, that
So I'm
makes
not
sense.
sure that the U.S. military will be of any use in getting you to Russia.
Yeah, I didn't expect that we would show up with tanks or anything.
Well, that's
We
good,
just-
because getting tanks to Russia this time of year is probably not a good idea, especially with this storm that's brewing up. Yes,
Yeah.
quite.
Would a submarine be at all useful in getting in?
It'll get you
covertly?
close, but you still got to walk a ways to get to St. Petersburg.
That's true.
What
Yeah.
about the Blower blimp?
A Nazi blimp in Russia.
Yeah.
we can change the team colors.
What do you
Theoretically.
suggest? Because again, if you paint U.S. forces or British forces suddenly flying into Russia, that's going to set off quite a few alarms.
All right, withdraw.
And that blimp may not even make it back out of Russia, especially if Stalin has got some secret organization of his own working on weapons like we have seen our good friend Blisco use.
Mhm.
Well, I really just came to congratulate you and tell you job well done. There's certainly accommodation from the U.S. military waiting for you when you get home. But I'm sure there's ways around these problems if you just think hard enough. You all seem smart. He pauses. Yes, I must go now. And then he steps behind the curtain, and there's a little flutter. And then the military man that walked into the room, as you were, and he turns and walks out of the library, and the doors reopen, and people reemerge and go back to work.
Okay.
He really is the greatest wizard of them all.
Yeah, he's pretty good at it. Speaking of which, maybe you should really prioritize finding what it is that's creating this effect, before somebody else keels over.
Yes, Major Seraph has been working night and day. He's been gone for a couple of days now. I don't think, Sally, have you seen him? No, I have not seen him at all. Not since Thursday. Yes, he would be our resident magician and would know if there's something powerful working against us.
Is he on a mission? Where was he last seen?
He was on the grounds, I remember. Yes, quite. I remember seeing him on Thursday. He was walking over by the pond.
What day is it today?
Tuesday.
So the last time you've seen him was 4 days ago?
5.
5 days ago?
I mean, people disappear for long periods of time without telling their supervisors. And everybody kind of turns and looks at Doc.
What's over by the pond?
The shed, groundskeepers, the woods, any number of things.
Well, maybe we can look around a bit.
Definitely worth investigating if we have an unknown magical infestation and our only wizard has gone missing.
Well, do you know if the eggheads finished looking at that key you brought?
Oh, yes, that reminds me. Dilton has been also missing for a few days.
Who has?
Has anyone seen Dilton?
Dilbert?
Yes, Dilbert. He's
When
been
was
missing
he
for a few days. Oh, I believe the day that you left on your adventure.
Okay. Is the key missing?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Doc.
We're so very busy organizing missions around the world that sometimes the small things slip through the cracks.
Certainly. No one's blaming you, sir.
Of course not. I'm funding this entire operation.
Okay. Well, let's look around for a bit, fresh eyes on the situation.
Okay.
We'll meet up again to talk about how exactly we're getting to Russia. I know that we're in a big hurry, but it doesn't do us any good if we come back to a bunch of husks.
Yes. Oh, yes, quite.
Oh, I also suggest, just for the sake of aligning our resources, Brigadier, that you maybe pass the necklace on to Sally.
Oh, why would I do that?
Because we need her book smarts to figure this out.
Well, I am the highest ranking official here. I think that my safety might be the top priority.
And that's fair. You can certainly decide to do that. I'm just suggesting.
Yes, it's a suggestion that I will note.
All right. Let's take a walk around the grounds.
Okay. You step outside, and of course, it is, again, a beautiful spring, late afternoon, starting to go into evening. You see military personnel moving around the grounds. We could call it a campus, but it's really an estate of Mr. Towton, of Alec Towton, or whatever his official title is. It's like Lord Viscount. Lord Alec Towton. But yeah, there's military personnel that are moving around all over the camp. You see some jeeps driving personnel back and forth from the town into the estate. You see grounds people, making the grounds look perfect. It's May now. All of the flowers are coming out. There's all the spring flowers, the irises and the daisies and the tulips are all looking beautiful. The grounds are meticulously maintained, even with all of the traffic, both foot and vehicle traffic, driving over the grass and the hills and all of these things. There are new barracks that have been built. There are new building constructions, which is where a lot of the science activities are taking place. Of course, one of the nicer parts of the grounds is the hedge maze that Alec Towton put in, or actually it was his father that put it in about 40 years ago. So this thing has had a chance to grow up, and in the center is this beautiful pond that is both a place for contemplation and relaxation. And you have that. There are some woods that take up a bulk of the estate. So there's a large wooded area surrounding Section MHQ. And then, of course, you see the big kind of circular construction that has been being built for the last, months since you first got here. You've seen people building this thing that looks like a tank could pass through it. And you've never seen it powered on, but it always looks like there are cables and wires and things that are connected to this device. They're on the grounds. And you can, of course, see there's some gardeners bringing in vegetables into the kitchen, and you can see maybe one of the huntsmen is coming in, and he's got a bunch of rabbits on a stick, a big long pole to feed everyone. But then, of course, there are the potato peelers, and there are cans of something, you presume, that is meat that is being opened up and put into big pots. Those are probably for the soldiers, the enlisted men that are there. But the rabbits and the fresh vegetables are probably for the enlisted officers and the higher ups, like you.
Yeah. What are we nowadays like?
I don't know. What does it say on your sheet? I was just looking at. I think you're lieutenants, right? Sergeants. That's it. No time for sergeants.
That's right.
Oh, I should amend my sheet. Mine still says private with a question mark.
Yep.
You're one of those private sergeants. You're not one of the public ones.
All right. While we're walking around,
Mm-hmm.
Dutch is like, "So, Doc, tell us about this key."
Well, there's not a lot that I know about it. I know that it's apparent. I mean, Dilbert clearly used it to enter our dreams. It's reputedly a way into some sort of dream world. I wonder.
How do you know that he? How do you know he entered your dream?
He entered Blisco's dream.
Did Blisco tell you guys about it?
I think so.
Yes.
Okay, just checking. Because you guys have had a lot of dreams that you don't all share the information with each other.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're bad about that. Every time it happens, I just hear thousands of voices screaming out and then suddenly being silenced. But I know that Blisco mentioned it because it was a thing, and I believe we also tried to talk to Dilbert about it.
Yeah.
But I'm not exactly sure how it works.
Yeah, we're unfortunately a little out of our depth as far as this stuff goes, but still probably good to see if we can figure out anything.
Is there any possible way that having been touched by the key in his dreams that Blisco might be able to sense it now? Like if his mind and Dilbert's mind were in some sort of communion, maybe there's
Yeah,
still a rapport.
that is something that I was thinking about, but I think the way to do that would be to have Blisco go to sleep and see if he can find anything. But that is if he can get around all of the bombshells.
I could use a good rest.
All right.
Yeah, it's getting
Well,
towards evening.
yeah. I want to check out the shed, but after that, we can
Okay.
try and see about that.
So you have to go to the far edge of the manicured part of the state, over towards where the woods begin, and there is a pond, a natural pond, not a built pond like the one that's in the center of the hedge maze, but it is a natural pond. It takes up a couple of acres. It's fairly large in size,
Wow.
and you can see the cattails and reeds poking up around the edges, and there's ducks that are there floating around, quack 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 quack, and there are some geese that are probably geese of the estate, not wild geese, that are trotting around. And right up next to the woods is what looks like some kind of a machine shed. It's large enough to hold like vehicles, maybe like groundskeeping vehicles, but it's in pretty poor condition. Of all of the buildings on the estate, this one is probably the most run down. Being next to the water and right next to the woods, it has absorbed a lot of the moisture from the air. There's a lot of moss and lichen and other bits of crawly stuff, ivy crawling up the side of the building, and it's covered. It looks a little saggy in places along the roof line. There's a door and a window, but the window is just covered in dust.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's see if we can get inside, and if anybody has the hair on the back of their neck stand up, or is punted into any sort of parallel dimension, give a shout.
Yeah, everybody give me an observation plus insight, D2.
Yeah, that's probably the right call. Is it observation and insight?
Yes.
Hey,
two
I did it.
successes for Blisco, 2 successes for Doc, 2 successes for Valentino.
Is there any chance that instincts would be a key focus?
Tell me how.
Well, is there, do I get any weird vibes?
No,
No.
but growing up on a large estate like you've grown up on, Valentino, that has a lot of workers and has a lot of people going about and doing things to raise crops and make sure that all that comes into market, and the fact that you've had generations upon generations of family that have had people working on your Georgia estate, raising crops and whatnot. You see lots of boot marks going in and out of this shed. It looks like nothing out of the ordinary, but you can tell that there's been a lot of traffic in this area. So that's what you can get with your insight. Doc, you notice that that even though the building looks fairly dilapidated, that the knob on the door looks a little bit shinier, like it's been touched a lot, like it's been used quite a bit.
Mm-mm.
And Blisco, you know that there is probably a really cool lawnmower, some kind of large lawn mowing tractor inside this shed.
Well, we know what Blisco's going to be looking at for the next however long we're in here.
Yeah. Is it locked?
Doesn't appear to be locked.
Okay. I open the door.
The door opens. And the light from the setting sun falls onto the floor, and you can see scurrying rodents on the floor, seeking shelter from whatever is coming in. And you hear maybe something rustling up in the rafters above you. There does appear in this dim light to be a light bulb with a string attached to it.
Oh, good. I'll pull on that.
You pull on that, and the room lights up, and you can see that, yes, indeed, this is a shed where gardening tools are kept, where gardening machinery is kept, that the floor, you can tell, is dirt, but it's of footprints going to and fro all throughout the benches and the rakes and the shovels and everything lined up against the wall. There is indeed, Blisco, a big, large lawnmower tractor over in one part of the shed. There's also a regular tractor that everybody is familiar with, the old red John Deere tractor that people are familiar with. And you can see all sorts of implements like tines for cultivating the dirt, and discs to split the earth and all of that stuff. Plows and stuff.
All right.
There's chemicals. There's also chemicals in here. So there's an odor of chemicals.
Look like normal creepy crawlies. Was there any?
Oh yeah, there's mice. The mice are running to and fro, and they're mostly trying to get into the bags of the seed grain that are in this building.
But they don't look like twisted human face mice, smoking cigars. And
I mean, if you want to get up close to them, you can go up and look. But no, these look like regular mice.
Okay, because we did see some mice that seemed to have human faces, and
yeah, we've run into at least one of those.
These were just like mice, and not like abominations.
Yeah, there are brown. What is it? Brown Jenkins running around.
Leroy Jenkins.
No, Brown Jenkins is the character.
Ah, got it.
So this just looks like a big old gardening shed.
Yeah.
Do the tractors look like they've been used recently? Or recently enough?
Yeah, give me an observation in engineering, or vehicles, observation in engineering D2.
Observation in engineering? Or
can
insight?
we do that? No. How about insight and vehicles?
Okay. That is a reasonable one.
Yeah.
Because observation in anything is 6.
Yeah, they're all in the same skills, yeah.
Yep.
Hey, very good.
Hey.
2 successes.
3
Sure
successes.
Enough.
Well,
3 successes.
Is this a car?
It's a tractor.
Oh. The focuses are cars, motorcycles, heavy vehicles, tanks, aircraft, and watercraft.
Heavy vehicles.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know I can't lift it.
As much as Carlos wants to try to lift it like he saw that Superman comic book do, this one's not going to be lifted very easily.
Well,
this is a jit.
You can tell. Yeah, you can tell that this tractor and the grass cutting machine have all had regular use. You can smell some fresh oil. The engines, none of them are warm at the moment, but you can tell that these things have not sat idle.
Okay. Well, just look around,
Okay.
see if there's anything else.
Why don't you all give me another observation and insight D3?
We don't have enough momentum for everyone to do it at first.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm...
Okay. Valentino, 2 successes.
Yep. Not even in any focus range.
Carlos, 2 successes.
Yeah.
Blisco, 1 success.
So you said that the difficulty is a 3?
Yes.
Yeah.
So we had to have 3 successes?
Yes.
Yep.
So if I burned a monumentum, it's possible that it might give us something.
Yeah.
Is it worth it?
I mean, everybody, like, nobody else took out momentum, so there's momentum to burn.
There you go. Ha-ha! 1 success.
And a complication. Yeah, you go poking around, Doc, and you're convinced that there's something in this shed, and you go over to one of the sacks, and this is like seed grain. This is not like or grass seed, not grain, not like corn or anything like that. This is just like fescue or bluegrass or whatever the British plant, in their lawns. You go and you move a big sack of that stuff, and a bunch of mice apparently have made their home there. And one of them kind of looks like it's wearing a cape, comes out and she bites you really, really hard on your finger and causes you one physical damage. And she goes and scurries back underneath to protect her children. You need to take 1 physical stress.
I
damage.
will take 1. It's almost as if I was hit by a Frisbee. Oh, wait, those don't exist yet.
But otherwise, you guys don't really notice anything out of the ordinary. In fact, Blisco, you're very impressed that in the dirt where these tractors are parked, it's almost like the people who drive these things have such great precision that they stop in the same spot every time when they come back. And like the tire tracks don't vary left or right or front or back than what you see as normal. And that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I'm going to talk about that. Like,
you want to talk about it? Okay.
Yeah, like, these guys know how to drive. They're just like pointing it out, like, kind of tap the shoulder of whoever happens to be next to me and be like, look at how good these guys are parking these things. Like, the exact same spot every time. Who pulls that off?
And at that moment, the door opens. At that moment, a door opens and a man comes in, and he's wearing a little pull down cap, and he's got a coat on, and he's got you can tell some kind of long apron over his clothing, and he's got on some boots that are caked in mud from probably centuries of working at the Towton estate, and he's got a big old bushy black mustache. Oi, what are you doing in here?
Oh, we're just looking for magic.
Oh, the only magic is in me hands. I got the green thumbs, me mum says.
Oh, that's good. Hey, you wouldn't happen to be the one who's been driving this tractor, huh?
Of course, I don't let anyone else do it.
Oh, there you go, Blisco.
I'm going to start talking about how he's managed to do this. Like,
well, you see, you build a little rut, and then it's easy to slide in again and again and again with each place. I've been doing this for decades now.
Oh.
And he points out on the ground, sure enough, there's these little divots that the tractor has sunk into the ground over all this time. And yeah, sure, it makes sense that as long as you get into the track, that you would start and stop in the same spot every time.
It's still probably tough to get into the track.
He's got magic in his thumbs, he does.
I do. I've got me green thumbs. That's why the grounds look so good.
Green thumbs, step in time.
Well, boys, it's getting kind of late. You should be getting on. I've got to close up shop today.
Yep, you're right.
And as you all leave, if you look back, you can see him kind of peering through the crack of the door as the crack of the door closes and you see the light through the dusty window go off. Critical Hit Punch All Nazis is a production of Major Spoilers Entertainment and was produced and edited by me, Stephen Schleicher. If you would like to get a behind-the-scenes making of this episode, be sure to check out the GM Roundtable Octoon Cthulhu Edition at our Patreon page, patreon.com/Major Spoilers. Each week I discuss my plans for the upcoming game session, and Dr. Brad Will is there to share his reactions and advice on how to be a better game master. I will warn you, though, there are spoilers galore in every installment of the GM Roundtable Octoon Cthulhu Edition. So, if you don't like spoilers and don't want to know what I'm planning next, don't listen to these episodes. Though, I will say, if you do listen, you'll be able to see how and where the players throw a wrench into my plans, and you're also going to have greater insight into the world that's being built into this campaign. Finally, we want you to record yourself doing your best on Critical Hit and send it to us at podcast@majorspoilers.com, and your voice will join the growing chorus of fans in upcoming episodes as well. Thank you again for listening this week, and here's hoping all of your dice rolls are critical hits.
This podcast is copyright 2024 by Major Spoilers Entertainment, LLC.